Del Piero is rumored to be Juventus's president, to be Italy's president, and he's fine with being a fucking sideline reporter.
Dude,
He's
Del
like the
Piero
fucking
is living his life in
Del
LA.
Piero.
That guy
I'm trying to
loves
think
Los Angeles. He's
the
never
fucking
leaving.
Del Piero is the Craig Sager of the fucking Champions League, just interviewing the players on the sideline. It's actually kind of embarrassing. A player of his stature is just a fucking 15-minute sideline reporter.
Emergency Calcio Culture episode coming in hot. Ciao, Paisans. What a day it has been. What a horrific day it is for Calcio. Italy are out of the World Cup for a third straight campaign. I am your host today, Logs. I'm here with both of my co-hosts, Vos and Mats. We are all here all to talk about what has gone down with the Azzurri.
Shoot the cannons, sound the guns, have a funeral, clear house. I want rebuild from the ground up. Terrible, terrible day. Embarrassment at every which way you turn it. Just sadness, embarrassing, mad, anger. A lot of emotions, none of them good.
A lot of emotions, none of them good. Ciao, Paisans, we're back. Sorry, we took a little hiatus. Been busy in our personal lives, but we took quite the day to come back. A pretty bad day, and I think Matsu nailed it on the head. Everything's got to come down. You got to start again. 12 years since Italy's been in the World Cup. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And in the midst of the 12 years, somehow winning a Euro and having one of the longest international not losing streaks as well. So really hard to make sense of it all, because obviously from a World Cup standpoint and just as a nation, pure disappointment, but also this kind of generation has delivered an extremely high in winning the Euros. That squad did something right. They had somebody in there that knew what he was doing, probably Mancini. But that's what kind of where we need to go, where we need to pivot back to, is figuring out. Well, they also had obviously Chiellini and Bonucci, some old legends, but a lot of bad things to cover today.
A lot of bad things. And Paisans, just before we get into the nitty gritty of the game today, and maybe a quick highlight of the previous game against Northern Ireland, if the emotion out of the three of us haven't hit home yet, just to give you the magnitude of what has happened today with this loss, Italy is the first former World Cup champion to miss out on 3 straight World Cups. None of the current players in the Italian national team have ever participated in a World Cup. Not only that, even though they participated in the 2014 World Cup, knockout, and 2010 for that matter, a knockout round game has not been won by the Azzurri since 2006 when they won the final against France. This is an abomination. This is an embarrassment. This is depressing, to say the least. Vos, tell us about the game today.
Yeah, I think really honestly, what happened today, I don't think really matters all that much, right? For where we go from here and kind of to get into everything. But really quickly, what did happen today? Italy kind of got off to a decent start. Goal in the 15th minute from Moise Kean off of a, oh my God, bad giveaway from Bosnia. Then 20 minutes later, 41st minute, Bastoni gets a red card, straight red card for stopping a goal scoring opportunity. I thought it was a red card. Some people are saying that it wasn't. I don't see any reason to disagree there. And then basically Italy were just under siege then. They took Bosnia a while, but they did net one in the 79th minute. And then it was kind of just Italy under siege from that entire time. So I don't really want to talk overly about it, but for me, my kind of reaction from this game, 11v11, I didn't think Italy were great. They got really lucky with one goal. And then as soon as they got the red card, they just sat in the 18-yard box for basically 100, I don't even know how long, 45 plus 30, 75 minutes. And we're just kind of hanging on for dear
30.
life, hoping for it. Yeah, 75, 45 plus 30.
No, but then the extra times.
Yeah, 30 minutes of extra time.
Oh, because the 41st minute. Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
So I think that is kind of a good summary of the game, unless you guys disagree.
I don't think that they played terribly down a man. Like, they created chances. Moise Kean had a good opportunity. Pio Esposito could have won the game. It was a good save.
Palestra had a good one. DeMarco had a good one.
So they didn't do terrible down a man. But like, the fact that they were in this big of a game, were down a man, is terrible in and of itself. And then in terms of 11v11, they're just like, it was very similar to the game against Northern Ireland, whoever they played on Wednesday or Tuesday of last week. No real tactics, just kind of swinging the ball back and forth, not really any pace to it.
Yeah,
There
that
was
was
some
that
type
was
of
my
urgency.
problem.
Like you could feel the players understood that these are it's a must win 2 games, but there wasn't really a style of player urgency or any type of like this is what they're doing. And so that's where I think you saying they didn't look great 11v11. Like Bosnia had a style of play. They understood how to play off of each other. They knew what they, even when it was 11v11, they obviously had a big mistake, but they clearly, those players played together and have a system and they know the system and they know what it needs to be and they know the parameters around which and how they play. Italy doesn't have that. And they haven't had that since the Euros.
Yeah, my problem with like Italy, when I say they weren't good 11v11, it was almost like everybody was like, okay, like relax, we just have to win a game. That was like what everybody was talking about coming into this game. Yeah, once the game started, they were almost like too casual and too relaxed. And like we have the ball, that's okay. Like let's not try to do anything crazy. Like it was so slow. But the reason I don't want to spend all that much time on this game is because like you can blame Bastoni for getting a red card. That's why they lost. But again, like if it was 11v11 for 90 minutes, I'm not sure. Like Mosh just said, Pio missed a great opportunity. DeMarco missed a great opportunity. Palestra missed a great opportunity. Cristante missed a penalty. And they shouldn't even been in this place to begin with. And there are so many people to blame beyond just saying, oh, because Bastoni got a red card, they're not in the World Cup. And that's at a player level. But this started 4 years ago when they missed the last World Cup. This whole thing started. And you can blame the coaching when it started with Spalletti. It kind of went over to Gattuso. And then it goes up even higher than that with the entire system of football in Italy at this point. And so that's why I don't think we really need to talk about the game. I think it's more what is next, because we kind of know why we're here. It's been no style of play, kind of just calling up the same players over and over, regardless of their form, and just trying to figure it out without anything getting better at any point. And I think the first point of discussion now is we're out of the World Cup. Gattuso is probably the first thing you need to look at, right? And it's, do we stick with him or do we go elsewhere? And I think that's the first place we have to start, right?
I mean, certainly, but I don't know that Gattuso did that bad of a job. I don't think that this was, again, like you said, it kind of started with Spalletti after missing the last World Cup, and then this guy came in what, June of last year. So, I mean, to be fair, we lose to Norway in that first group stage qualifier, but then we go on a 6-game win streak from there. We didn't lose a game after that until we played Norway again. So, like, that's not a bad job, I would say. That to me would be sufficient to continue to go, but just given the circumstances, we don't make it into the real World Cup. What I will say is, to your point about the relaxation, that's a mindset thing. And when we talked about it a lot before the Northern Ireland game, and a lot of the quotes that were coming out of the news outlets leading up into that first game were quite concerning. Almost like the pressure was too much. The spotlight was too much for Gattuso, which is funny because that guy tends to carry himself as a hard-nosed, thick-skinned, true Italian through and through kind of guy. And he's coming out with quotes that he's like never been in this spot before. That guy was on the 06 Cup team.
Yeah.
That guy won a World Cup.
Champions
That guy
League
knows what
finals.
this means.
He's
Like he's been there, done. He's been there, done that. That's like the most pristine guy, been there, done that, and he comes out and leads a team out there like this, trembling on the pitch, trembling.
What Gattuso was known for during his playing days was his mindset. Like he was a dog on the field. He was the runner next to Pirlo. He was covering every blade of grass. He was going to die for the Italian national team. So that's where it kind of frustrates me. Is like I felt that the players understood the moment, but the urgency wasn't necessarily there. The sacrifice. Bosnia had a player that was falling on the ground, and Pio Esposito had opportunity, and he used his head to deflect it to prevent a shot on goal
Yeah,
that
but
could have.
to be fair, he's a former Juventini.
But so like that's like they understood, like that's the type
Yeah.
of mindset that you need to have, which I didn't necessarily see from Italy, and that's where I personally want Gattuso gone, because if that's what he's known for, that's his MO, that's who he is, and he can't get that out of the players. Why is he there? He has no tactics. He has no style of play. He said himself he's never been in these situations. What has he done to earn the right to coach the national team? So my opinion is I want him gone. I did see a report that the president of Italian national football, Gabriel Garvina, who we'll get into in a little bit, did already confirm that he's asked Gattuso and Buffon to remain with the national team. At what level? I think we're yet to, if that means Gattuso stays the coach, We're not sure. Or does he take a step back and remain somewhere within the staff? We'll have to see. But I personally am moving on from a lot of the staff, a lot of the players. If you could possibly fire the president, Garvin, I would. I don't think you can. He'd have to step down. He's already said he's not stepping down. But I would. I don't want. I wouldn't have Gattuso.
I think the problem with where they go here, like what's done is done, and you have to be looking at like this is the next guy we bring in. Like it's 4 years. Like you need your 4 years. Call up the guys, have them play the same way for 4 years straight, so that next time you're in this place, like even if it's not the best Italy squad, at least they're playing with a way they want to play and can beat teams that they're better than. And that's kind of been the story of this team is that they just don't have a style of play. It's like every time they show up, like they can't just beat people that they need to beat, and it's extremely frustrating. I think the problem with moving on from Gattuso, two things. I do like that he trusted some of the younger players because we've seen a lot of people not do that. And number two, it's kind of where do you go? And I think the only guy that I can think of that would actually make a ton of sense, and I don't even know if it would be possible, is Fabio Grosso. World Cup winner, has had a great season with SAS, doesn't have crazy complex tactics, and just kind of can play football. I think it'd be interesting. Can you get him off of SAS? Probably. And I just think that setup could be really effective with this team. But I don't know. I would be okay with them keeping Gattuso. I think the Buffon, Bonucci, Gattuso kind of grouping, I think that's the right guys. Like I think they are the right people to get the most out of an Italian national team. And if we just throw somebody else in the mix, I'm not sure things get any better.
I just feel like they're gonna be sucked in by a name brand. They're gonna want a big name coach, and like the name like Ancelotti like comes to mind. But in 4 years, that guy might be dead anyways. But
He's locked
coaching
up
Brazil.
with Brazil. Yeah.
right now, we're talking 4 years from now.
Yeah, but
In
you got
any
Euros
case-
in the middle of that too. It's not 4 years from now. It's now.
But
In any case, the issue that Ancelotti would bring is that you to your point, Vos, you need a coach that has tactics. This Italian team has proven that they don't have the talent nor the mindset to go out there and just play ball. They need to have direction. They need to be put together in a way that makes sense. Whereas on a lot of other national teams, they can come together in 2 weeks and completely rely on skill. And so you're going to, I think they're going to have to balance the fact of maybe not having that name brand come in, but actually maybe a tactician that has a little bit of a runway, that knows Serie A, that knows the Italian players, and can fit them in over time.
I think the problem with that is like that what you just described is Spalletti, and it didn't work. You need something that's kind of in between. The other thing that this kind of makes me want to talk about is a lot of this is like, oh, Italian players just aren't as good. Like that's the issue. Like the team's not good enough. But when you look at the team, we have the best goalie in the world. We have a top 5 center back in the world. Calafiori plays for Arsenal, who people say are the best team in the world. Benali is definitely one of the best midfielders
The best
in the
center
world.
mid in the world.
Federico DiMarco is arguably the best wingback in the world. Like you can't blame that. The talent is there. Even if it's not to say like they're good enough to win the World Cup, it shouldn't even be a question that this team is good enough to get to the World Cup. And I don't think it's a discussion around actual player level of ability.
Just to counter that for a second, though, I get it. Individual talent, really good here. Goalkeeper does not need tactics. DiMarco plays in a system that works for him, that is like meant for him. Bastoni plays in a system that works for him. Calafiori hasn't played for Arsenal. He's been hurt. He plays
no,
left back.
Calafiori's been playing.
He's been playing recently, but he's made what, half season,
but
and it's been at left back.
Calafiori
the
looks
entire
great
time.
at Arsenal.
Calafiori
He
looks
looks
great
okay.
on Italy. I thought he was great
Yeah.
today.
And
And
also,
I'm just saying that talent is not just out there individual, no tactics, no
we're
structure.
playing in the
that talent is
formation that
structure.
works for them.
That's the other thing. The other
They're playing the 3-5-2. They're playing the DiMarco and Bastoni's the center back, but you don't sacrifice anything putting Calafiori there, and Bastoni can still be on the ball as much as he is with Inter. So you're not sacrificing the tactic or you're getting the most out of these players because you're playing them in their normal spots.
And how often did they play similar to how they play it back at home?
Yeah, but you can't expect the national team to play like Inter Milan plays, dude. They've been
That's
building
what I'm
that
saying.
system
So just
they've
because
been
it's the same
building that
formation doesn't mean it's
system-
the same way. In any
Yeah, but
case.
it's not going to be
Just
the same
because you
way.
play the same formation doesn't mean it's the same style of play. Let's
Yes,
just get that straight.
Obviously.
Okay,
but
so
you
I'm
get
not,
the
I'm not
most
saying
out
that
of
they don't have the
DiMarco. You're
talent.
getting the most out of DiMarco that way. We've seen him in Spalletti in a 4-back. It didn't work. So this is a 3-5-2 to get the most out of DiMarco. You're not losing a lot by pushing Bastoni in the center back. So that's my point to what you're saying. I didn't mention this when I was talking about Gattuso. Another reason why I want him gone. Some of the worst subs I've ever seen in my entire life during this game. You're
Yeah.
down to 10 men. You have to counterattack. That's the only way you're going to score. Moise Keane was playing well. He had a goal. He's got the pace to do it, and we saw him almost do it. Putting Pio Esposito in, he's a guy who holds it back to back to the goal, hold up play, not needed when you're down to 10 men. Taking off Locatelli for Cristante. Locatelli could at least keep the ball when needed and find an outlet to pass when we were playing inside our 18. Cristante was literally just kicking the ball up to midfield and giving it back to Bazzi to recycle to do another cross. So absolutely terrible subs, in my opinion, from Gattuso. Palestra, I thought he didn't play terrible, but bringing him in that moment where he didn't let us down per se, but like you needed to bring or leave Politano on someone who understands the moment of that game. So I didn't love that sub either. So just
And
from
then
every which way you
I
turn,
think the one other piece on that is Pio Esposito taking the first penalty and missing it.
good,
Why
good.
the fuck
Horrendous.
was he taking the first? I don't care if he said, I'm the most confident guy in the world. Let me go take this penalty. No. Like, these guys have been in crazy situations. Let somebody that's been here do this.
Tonali
Like,
should have taken the first
yeah.
one. He stepped
should
up and
take
ripped it. But if you listen to the announcers when it was the PK shootout, it was what he was saying every time somebody walked up. He talked besides Tonali, and I know there was only 3 people that took the PKs for Italy. But if you go down the list, it would have been the same for everybody. Pio went up there. He said he's a 20-year-old kid who's never taken a penalty for Italy before. Cristante went up there. They said he's made both his penalties, but hasn't taken a penalty since 20. So 6 years ago or 4 years ago. I can't remember the day. And then you look at the list. Fertezzi was in. Look at who was in the game. Gatti was in. Mancini was in. Palestra was in. Who's going to step up in that moment and fight and be okay with that pressure besides Tonali? Like,
And
and
maybe
maybe
Spinazzola. Yeah.
Spinazzola is who I was just about to say. Calafiori probably could do it too, but I wouldn't be shocked if Calafiori missed. So in Bosnia, on the other hand, I don't know many of the players that stepped up, but they buried the penalties.
I mean, I think honestly, this is what I texted you guys. When it got to penalties, I was like, this is over. Like, imagine the amount of pressure these guys are under, like going into this game already. And now it's like, oh, we're in a shootout to win this. That's immense amount of pressure. And there's nothing on Bosnia because you're just kind of like here, didn't expect to be here. So, I mean, at that point, I just thought it was over. I don't know where we go from here.
I'm
gonna be
going
a
to
tough
throw out a
road.
name,
It's a
and I
tough
know
road.
I don't want to talk too much about what ifs because we don't know. But I'm going to throw out a name that I think would be a good manager. Now he has a job, so you got to snatch him away. But why not DDR? He runs a system.
That I
He
actually
knows
don't
Italy.
hate. I don't
He
hate
plays
that.
attacking. It's an attractive style. Now it's a little loose in the back, but I think that's where more of our strong point is in the back. Although we do get a little leaky, but I don't hate that name. But it's kind of I don't think we should focus on who they should get because that's all just speculation. But I like that name, DDR.
I think DDR would be good. I think Fabio Grosso, like I said, I think that would also be very good. Do you think anything could have been different on a player level? Like, did he? I don't think there's anybody that was left out. I think this is probably the best 11 for an Italy team at this point in time. I think this definitely is the best formation. Like, this is putting everybody in the right place to succeed.
I think that he brought Gatti on in the second half and went down to man. I thought Gatti played extremely well, and I didn't think this was Mancini's best game, so I wouldn't have hated seeing a rotation there. But Gatti's not making us win the game. But I think there could have been a little bit more thought process or rotation in it. But I wasn't mad at seeing the same exact 11 that
I
delivered.
agree.
I think
But yeah, there's not really much options. But that's where it goes back to previous years and people calling up, and we have no experience with guys. So you have to play these players that continually do not perform and continually do not get a result and continually miss the World Cup. We're calling the same goddamn players up, and we miss it every 4 years. What do you expect is going to happen in 4 years from now? We're going to call up that they're going to be 34, all of them. We're going to call them up again, and we're going to miss it again.
And I mean, it's a snowball effect because you have now missed 3 in a row. So even for the next campaign to go to the World Cup, when you look to call up experienced players and players that have been that legends of the game that have brought the Italian national team to glory, no longer exist. You no longer have a pool of players that have experience that we're looking for.
True. Good point.
Right? Like even the guys that we talk about that we're playing today that we talk about having experience. Tonali has never been here. Barella has never been there. Bastoni is. I mean, I said at the beginning of the episode, not a single player on this team has been at the World Cup. Now I get it, the qualification system is a little bit different now, and yes, they won the Euros, but now this is gonna be 4 years from now, presumably 2028 when they start qualifying again. These guys are either gonna be really old and no experience or really young and no experience. So you're not gonna be able to lean on saying these are the guys that have been there, done that. It's gonna have to be fresh blood. It's gonna be a brand new mindset almost of the fact that this Italian national team going into the next World Cup is not a blue blood program. This is not somebody that we should be expecting to be at the World Cup. They need to come in with a new mindset where
There's
we've never been here. These guys that are going to be in the program, they're going to be on this team next time, have never been there. They can't go in there expecting to make the World Cup, and they've got to go balls to the wall. They've got to bleed. They got to bleed for the badge. They got to earn it. This is not just a God-given right for the Italian national team to go to the World Cup anymore. This has to be earned, and it has to come out on the
and
pitch.
Logan, I'm gonna piggyback that and say you're totally right. Like Italy cannot be where they're locked for the World Cup because they're just fucking not. Like they proved that they're not. So what I want to piggyback with that is so there should be zero. Actually, there should be one player who is a lock on this roster, and it's Donnarumma. Everybody else should earn their fucking stripes because they have done nothing to prove themselves that they deserve their spot. And I'm talking Barella, I'm talking Bastoni, I'm talking Locatelli, I'm talking DeMarco, Keane, everybody. Maybe Tonali can be in there. Calafiori can maybe be in there because they at least have some urgency and you can see it on the pitch. But I still think make them earn it because to your point about no one has played in a kind of heavy game. Tonali missed the Euros when they won, and I believe he wasn't on the Euro squad back in 2 years ago for injury or something. So he's never even played in a national tournament before. So that's why I'm just like from scratch. I don't care if you're 19 or 35. If you are playing the best and dying for Italy and like proving yourself in practice and with your club team, then you get a chance. You no longer get a chance because your fucking name is Bastoni, Barella, and these because of your name. I don't want it anymore.
I think that's spot on. And I think that goes into like giving some more younger guys a chance and giving them a look so that when you're 3 years down the road, you have like this different pool of players you can draw from. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There should be no locks. There should be zero locks. I mean, why was Chiesa even called? Why was he even called to play in this fucking game?
Yeah,
But
bullshit.
the fact, and that's another part that I want to talk about as well. The fact that Federico Chiesa is probably the best attacking option that we've seen in Italy over the last 10 years, not playing for his club team that much, has an opportunity to help deliver, and then says, I'm not fit enough. That would have never happened 10, 20 years ago. They would have risked their entire remainder of their season to get Italy to the World Cup. Like those, like I'm talking the players.
Francesco Totti, Luca
Yeah,
Toni,
exactly.
Gattuso, all those guys. Yeah.
Chiellini, Benu, those guys would have been like, we are going to fucking die to make sure we
Yeah, I
win,
know.
and then we'll figure it out when we get there and who's playing where. But we're getting there. Like, and it goes back to even to the club level. And I'm really picking on Bastoni here because I feel like, Bose, you said he's a top 5 center back in the world.
I
I
don't know.
feel
Not
like
this year. Not
I'm
this year.
not.
No.
I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Yes, he's technically good. His mindset is not there. And it goes back to him coming off the pitch during big games against AC Milan during a Milan derby, and he's coming off injured. Chiellini was bleeding out of he cracked his head open and he put a wrap on it and said, I'm playing this game. His jersey was covered in blood. Bastoni comes out because he tweaks his knee. Like, what are we talking about? What is this mindset? It's pathetic. And when you're a player who's in such high regards, like Bastoni in Europe, has that mindset, everyone's going to have that fucking mindset. It trickles down from the top. It's pathetic.
It
I
does
think you
trickle
nailed
down
it.
from the top. To be honest, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on, does this hurt the domestic league? Does it hurt Serie A as
Oh,
we look forward for
definitely.
the next 4 years?
Without.
And just like when I think about the Serie A now, and you think about how put this into perspective. If England, Spain, France, or Germany, any one of them missed the World Cup, like it would be unfathomable. Here we are with Italy missing the last 3. It's commonplace. It's like it's almost expected.
It's
We came into this
bad.
game today like, oh, Bosnia was probably going to beat Italy. We should have seen this coming. Like,
It's
what
bad,
does
dude.
that mean for
I,
what
I,
does that mean for the league?
It's bad for the league in a lot of ways, especially because you had a World Cup in the US. The US has the largest Italian population, like diaspora outside of Italy. I think Argentina's second on that list. So like you've lost out on this huge fandom. Like there's people of Italian heritage who are like going to high school that have never seen Italy play in a World Cup. Like this knock-on effect is massive. And like even like you're missing out on all the Serie A players going to a World Cup, and it's just
I think it
ridiculous.
also what it does for like the average soccer fan is it allows them to just be like, it's a farmers league. You know, that's what everyone says about every league besides the Premier League. It doesn't when you go up against your friends and you have a conversation against your friends about why the Serie A is better than the Prem, right? This is this is argument A. You've missed the World Cup 3 years in a row. Obviously, typically what happens is the best players in that league are Italian and they represent the national team. So it's like any Prem fan will just be like, "You can't make the World Cup. Talk to me when you can make the World Cup." And then obviously there's so many other arguments. And then what it does also is the way that Italy play, the way in which that the urgency or the no tactics or the kind of slow pace is what the screenshot of what the average fan will tie into or associate with the Serie A. That's the kind of football that you watch, right? And so that's not good for the league because you need the common fan to be like, they play good brand of football, attacking, scoring goals. Let me tune in every now and then. But so that it's not good for the league at all. And to your point, Logs, about like if England, if Spain, if France didn't make the World Cup, like it would be crazy town. Like I feel like people somehow kind of let this kind of skate by. Like it's mentioned, but it's not like headline news. Like Brazil gets shit on for not winning a World Cup in how long? Brazil is they are a lock for the World Cup. They're a lock for the quarterfinals every year. We're talking about Italy is just as big as Brazil. They're just as big, and they don't even make the World Cup and people aren't really like up in arms about it. But Brazil doesn't win the World Cup and they're up in arms. The fans are going nuts. And so that's where the disconnect, like I don't know what I think Italian fans are just as passionate. I don't know where it's at, but I think that the higher up the president, that those people understand like we know what we have to do as Brazil. And so we feed in players, we get experience. Italy higher ups, they lost it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, but I think Brazil's actually a pretty good example because as good as they are, whenever you see their lineup on if it's a friendly, if it's a random qualifier, they'll have random guys from the Brazilian league that nobody's ever heard of because they're like, oh, this is a young guy up and coming, probably going to be good. Let's get him some burn. Italy refuses to do that under any circumstances. And I think part of this now that they missed a World Cup and then they missed two and now they missed three, winning is like a habit and success is like a habit. And having that swagger of like, we are going to win, like we're impossible to play against, it's just evaporated. It's completely gone. So now you go into every game like, oh my God, we can't lose this rather than, oh, here we go. We're just going to fucking roll these guys again. No big deal. Like that's what Chiellini had. That's what Bonucci had. And that's why even that Euro team was not the best Italy squad, but they had guys in that team that just had that swag and just said like we're not going to lose. We don't think we can lose even if we're not that good. We are literally not going to lose games. Now go to Gattuso. We can't play at the San Siro because it's too big. We got to go play in Bergamo because it's too much pressure. And like we're going to Bosnia, like, oh, this is a lot for the players. We know what's at stake. It should be, we're going to Bosnia. Let's fucking roll these guys. And that is completely gone. And I don't know if there's a guy that's going to be able to bring that in again and have that. Maybe DDR does. I don't know. But
No,
I
but
mean,
that was my point earlier. I don't think that Italy can go into any games now with the idea that we're
you know
gonna
who I
roll.
think has this attitude actually that never gets a look is Mondragora. Mondragora, every single game, runs until his legs are broken. He gets into every tackle. He's not the best player in Italy. He's not the best Italian player. He's definitely not one of the best Italian midfielders. But somebody like that, who just leaves everything on the field every single game, those players just don't exist on this Italy team anymore, apart from Tonali.
I doubt Gattuso knew he's Italian. Just putting that out there. But I also think that to a smaller extent, on top of all the other reasons that we've noted, the national team game is much different from a recruitment process than it was 20 years ago. Imagine all the double passport kids now thinking about, should I play for Italy
Good
or
point.
should I play for X other country? Like that's going to be a huge knock-on effect as well. And I think that a lot of these kids are going to choose another country. They don't. They
Great
can't.
example.
They What? Yeah, Retegui won't come here. I mean, Bremer could have been Italian. He doesn't want to be Italian, so he's Brazilian
Sule.
now. Sule could have been Italian. He's Argentinian. So it's already happening, and I think it might even get worse. And so that pool of players that this Italian national team is going to be able to pick from a young talent perspective is just going to shrink. It's going to shrink, and I think that again, I talked about a snowball. This is going to be a snowball effect, and it's going to be a really, really, really tough hole to dig ourselves out of for the next 4 years. And it's going to take a really special person at the helm. I do believe that.
But I think it's not even just a manager. We need a new president of the
Yeah.
Italian national football
Well,
team.
wasn't there that whole Del Piero thing not that long ago that Del Piero is going to be the new president?
Del Piero is rumored to be Juventus's president, to be Italy's president, and he's fine with being a fucking sideline reporter.
Dude,
He's
Del
like the
Piero
fucking-
is living his life in
Del
LA.
Piero,
That guy
I'm trying to
loves
think,
Los
who is-
Angeles.
he's
He's
the
never
fucking-
leaving.
Del Piero is the Craig Sager of the fucking Champions League, just interviewing the players on the sideline. It's actually kind of embarrassing. A player of his stature is just a fucking 15-minute sideline reporter. But yeah, we need Gravina. And Gravina got reelected in February of 2025. Why the fuck did he get reelected in February? He was appointed in 2018. We've missed 2 World Cups since then. And now we missed. Why? What has he done to be reelected? Like,
I
what
think
is happening?
the worst part about all this is just nothing has changed for 12 years. It's been the same exact fucking thing. We're just slamming our heads against the wall. Same formation, same players, like every single time.
So like Spalletti tried to change it.
And
He
yeah,
tried to change it, and sure, hey, we got out of the group stage in the Euro. It wasn't pretty, but
Bailed
we got
out.
out. We got out. But you cannot, and this goes back to kind of what we've all say on this podcast when it comes to Serie A, managers, players. You got to give them time. You just have
Yeah.
to give managers time. Now, I do agree with your take, Boast, that it's a little different with international. You can't really have like a system like Spalletti because it takes too long to get to know that, and you don't have the guys enough to really implement that. So it needs to be a balance, but like you have to stick with somebody. But Gattuso's not it. So I know I said give him time, but not Gattuso. But when you make the decision,
Anybody but Gattuso, give him time.
yeah. Then when you make this decision, I don't care how we perform in the Euros. I don't care about anything besides we are making the World Cup 4 years from now. And I'm sticking with this guy because he is going to pick the players that he can coach and get to know and train to make the World Cup in 4 years.
I hope they just uproot everybody that was on the World Cup squad in 2006 and just like, all right, you like 5 or 6 you guys, like you're just managing the team now. Like that's it. Like get the most out of these guys. Like you got to figure something out with them.
Just group.
It's gone.
Manager.
Like this. Like you always see those videos like Maldini with like Totti, Pirlo, Zambrotta, and it's just like, fucking God.
Now we have like Moise Kean.
Mancini.
And guys named Brian.
It's embarrassing.
You would never have a
the
guy
fall
named
from
Brian
grace.
on the 06 team. Fucking
I don't
Brian.
know, dude. I don't know where it goes from here. I mean, I think the next week is going to be really telling if Gattuso does leave. This is a hard job to take at this point for anybody. Like, you're kind of destined to fail. Like, all you can do is make the World Cup, which is not even that hard. You just got to make the World Cup and you're Italy.
Hard. And you have a great pool of players. No, I don't. I still think this job is coveted.
Desirable.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as saying like people hate this job. Like being the Italian national coach like that still means something.
You know,
Four-time World Cup winner.
You know, it would be so classic. They hire fucking Pioli. I wouldn't even be surprised if that happened.
They cannot. What would he do?
Not much, as he
Nothing.
does.
Nothing. He doesn't do anything. Nothing.
I thought about Inzaghi, but Inzaghi would be a terrible fit too.
Not with that. With that Inter mentality. But when he left, no chance, bro. Come on.
Inzaghi would still be calling up a Cherby in 3 years.
Dude, you'd be getting Barzagli on the pitch. Come on.
I don't know. Any final thoughts? Final thoughts? I have none. Disappointing. Really sad.
Embarrassing. Sad. Mad.
All the bad
pathetic
emotions you can think of. Paisans, you know what to do. Let us know in the comments how you're feeling, what you think the Italian national team should do next, who should be the next coach of the Azzurri.
Hey, I like this Fabio Grosso shout. I think that's a legitimate one.
Let us know what you guys think about Fabio Grosso doing a great job at SAS. Maybe you can translate that to a nice campaign into the next World Cup for the national team. But with that, Paisans, that's a wrap on our emergency recording today. It's good to be back. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled programming next week after, what is it?
In a while.
I think it's no, but I think it's match week 30.
30? 29, 30, something like that.
Something that round. We're in the home stretch, boys.
We wouldn't
We're in
know.
the
We
home
haven't
stretch.
we haven't recorded a Serie A.
We're in the home
Yeah,
stretch, but
but
we do have a big game. Big game.
we're just like the league. We were on an international break. We were on the international break.
I think what's even funnier about that is since we recorded, nothing has changed in the table.
Table's the
Yeah,
same.
because it's
Inter at the
international
top.
break.
Milan dropping points. We got a big game against Napoli. If we get a draw there, I think the season's cooked. But with that, Paisans, thank you for joining in today. Today is Tuesday, March 31st. Big home stretch coming in for the Serie A. We've got it all covered for you on Calcio Culture. You know where to find us on all the socials. X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Calcio Culture FC. Like, subscribe, 5 stars, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, and this will be not live on all your favorite streaming sites, Spotify and Apple Pods. Mott's with a depressing day.
I don't
Take us
want
away.
to. I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to do it.
Hang it up.
Paisans, don't be a cagoots. Forza Calcio Culture.